In the heart of the Middle East, a group known as the Houthis are making headlines around the world. Born out of a Zaidi revivalist movement in the 90s, the Houthis have evolved into a significant political and military force in Yemen. Their influence is not confined to local boundaries, as their activities have repercussions on the global stage. The Houthi movement, also known as Ansar Allah, emerged as a counterforce against perceived marginalization and discrimination of the Zaidi community in Yemen. Ideologically, they uphold the principles of the Zaidi sect of Shia Islam, but their political beliefs are shaped by a complex web of socio-political factors. Their rise to power has been marked by a series of conflicts, not just within Yemen, but also with regional powerhouses like Saudi Arabia and Israel, and even global superpowers like the United States. The group's strategic targets often include high-value military and economic sites, such as oil facilities and airports, and they have been suspected of deploying drone attacks to achieve their objectives. In an ever-changing geopolitical landscape, the Houthis have found allies in some quarters and adversaries in others. Their actions and strategies have been shaped by this dynamic, adding to the complexity of understanding their motivations and tactics. As we delve deeper, understanding the motives and strategies of the Houthis in their conflicts becomes crucial. Unraveling the motives of the Houthis brings us face to face with the complex tapestry of Middle Eastern politics. The Houthi movement, born out of Yemen's northern Zaidi Shia Muslim community, has been driven by a potent mix of grievances, ambitions, and ideological convictions. At the heart of their struggle is a deep-rooted opposition to perceived Saudi Emirati influence in Yemen, a stance that has fueled their relentless campaign against the Saudi-led coalition. But their resistance is not limited to regional players alone. The Houthis have also been vocal about their opposition to US policies in the region, viewing them as an inherent threat to their quest for autonomy. This defiance against powerful nations has not only shaped their narrative, but also drawn attention to their cause. Furthermore, the Houthis harbor a desire for greater political power within Yemen. They seek to redress what they perceive as years of political marginalization, economic neglect, and cultural decline, a sentiment that resonates with many Yemenis. In essence, their struggle is fueled by a blend of nationalistic fervor and a quest for social justice, underpinned by a firm ideological conviction. These motives, while complex and interwoven, offer insight into their strategic decisions and choice of targets. These motives shape their strategies and define their targets. The strategies and tactics of the Houthis reveal a group that is both adaptive and opportunistic. Their approach is multifaceted, leveraging a range of tactics to advance their goals. One significant aspect of their strategy is the use of drone attacks. These unmanned aerial assaults have allowed them to strike at targets with precision, causing significant damage while minimizing their own exposure to counterattacks. The Houthis also have a penchant for targeting infrastructure. This tactic disrupts the daily life and economy of their adversaries, creating an environment of instability and insecurity. It's a strategy designed to wear down their enemies, creating pressure for concessions. Moreover, the Houthis have sought alliances with other regional actors who share their opposition to Saudi and Emirati influence. This approach has allowed them to gain support and resources from outside Yemen, enhancing their ability to hold their ground in a complex and volatile conflict. Yet, these strategies have not been without consequence. The Houthis' drone attacks and targeting of infrastructure have brought them into direct conflict with several powerful nations. These nations include Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and even the United States, all of whom have condemned the Houthi actions and have pledged to hold them accountable. These strategies have brought them into conflict with several powerful nations. The conflict between the Houthis and Saudi Arabia is a major flashpoint in the region. A deep-seated rivalry existing for years, it's a stark reflection of the power dynamics and political turmoil in the Middle East. The Houthis, a Yemeni rebel group, have long been at odds with the Saudi-led coalition, which is deeply invested in the political landscape of Yemen. The reasons behind this contention are multifaceted. It's a mix of regional power struggles, religious differences, and control over resources. The Houthis, largely Shia, and Saudi Arabia, predominantly Sunni, have differing religious views, further stoking the flames of discord. The control over resources, particularly oil, adds an economic aspect to this standoff. The impact of this conflict is far-reaching. It has not only led to a humanitarian crisis in Yemen, but has also contributed to an atmosphere of instability in the region. The tussle for power has spilled over into neighboring countries and has drawn in global powers, each with their own vested interests. The Houthis have demonstrated their ability to carry out attacks far from their base, targeting Saudi oil facilities and even reaching out as far as the United Arab Emirates. This has raised alarm bells about their growing capabilities and the potential threat they pose to regional security. The rivalry with Saudi Arabia is just one piece of the puzzle. The confrontation between the Houthis and global powers like Israel and the USA has far-reaching implications. This is not just a regional conflict, but a global affair. The Houthis, a group originating from Yemen, have been involved in a series of confrontations with Israel and the United States. The roots of these conflicts are complex, but they are often tied to the wider Middle East conflict. The Houthis' drone attacks, such as the one near Abu Dhabi's international airport in early 2024, demonstrate their increasing capabilities, raising alarms in the international community. The United States has been firm in its stance, condemning these attacks and vowing to hold the Houthis accountable. This conflict is not just about the Houthis, it's a piece of a larger puzzle that involves many players, including Iran, a suspected ally of the Houthis. Meanwhile, Israel faces its own set of challenges in the region. The critical situation in Gaza, as reported in January 2024, is a stark reminder of the volatile state of affairs. The confrontations between the Houthis and global powers, therefore, are not isolated incidents. They are integral parts of a broader geopolitical struggle, with the potential to reshape the dynamics of the Middle East. As the situation continues to evolve, understanding these dynamics becomes more important than ever. The Houthi movement, like many aspects of the Middle East conflict, is complex and multifaceted. It's a living, evolving entity that weaves a complicated narrative in the fabric of global affairs. As such, one must approach it with a keen sense of curiosity and a strong commitment to continual learning. The complexities of the Houthi movement, their motives, their allies, and their conflicts with regional and global powers like Saudi Arabia, the United States, and Israel cannot be fully understood in a single sweep. It requires a persistent pursuit of knowledge, an openness to diverse perspectives, and a readiness to question existing narratives. The landscape of conflict is always changing. New events such as drone attacks or strategic shifts can drastically alter the dynamics of these conflicts. To stay informed, we must not only keep up with the news, but also strive to understand the historical, cultural, and political contexts that shape these events. Moreover, it's critical to recognize that there are always multiple sides to any story. By seeking out diverse sources of information, we can gain a more nuanced understanding of the Houthi movement and the wider Middle East conflict. In a world that is more connected than ever, understanding these conflicts is not just important, it's essential.